真実が知りたきゃ俺と真剣勝負しろ。
Okay, folks, I just finished the second season of Alice in Borderland and immediately jumped on my computer and wrote a script for this episode. I just want to stop and say, what the heck did I just watch? Just to give you context, I binged this thing in 4 days and finished the whole series. Each episode was 55 minutes and I've consumed almost 20 hours of this show where it felt like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen for 1 second. How are people calling this series the little brother of Squid Games? This is so much better. I'll be going through some of the spoilers in this episode, so if you haven't seen it, close the video, watch the entire thing in full, just like me, and then open this video back up so that we can talk about it. Okay, now that we covered that, let's start from the beginning. Alice in Borderland is a Japanese TV show that follows the story of a high school student named Arisu and his 2 friends Karube and Chota. By the way, I apologize in advance for completely butchering these characters' names. The 3 friends are transported to a parallel world where they must participate in a dangerous game in order to survive. In this world, they encountered others who have also been transported and must work together to win the games and return to their own world. Throughout the series, Arisu and his friends are faced with various challenges and must use their wit and intelligence to overcome them. The games are designed to test their physical, mental, and emotional limits, and the stakes are high, as failure can result in death. As the trio progresses through the game, they discover the true purpose behind their transit to this parallel world, and must confront the forces that control it. I thought I pretty much knew what the hell is going on there, but after seeing the end, I was left with so many questions. We understand how much this show is crazy from the very first game the guys play. First, the doors game. In this game, Arisu and his friends are given a simple choice: pick a white door or a black door. However, the choice they make will determine whether they live or die. The twist is that the doors are rigged, and neither choice is guaranteed to be safe. This scene is tense and suspenseful as Arisu and his friends must make a life or death decision based on limited information and instincts. This game gives you an understanding of what is going to be happening in the upcoming episodes, and just gives you a taste of how easy it is to die in the games. I was literally on the edge of my seat hoping that Arisu will manage to understand what the game is here and how to solve it. But of course, our boy is a genius. At this moment, we are beginning to understand how much Arisu has a super sharp mind. For being kind of a loser kid who plays video games, he starts realizing that there is a way for him and his friends to hack the game and survive. I really like the juxtaposition of Arisu before the game and during the game, and how it plays into his development as a character. We see him as the least favorite son. He lives in the shadow of his brother in the eyes of his father, and because of his obsession with games, he is looked down upon. But of course, in this hellscape, that is the key to survival. And this is why this episode we are focusing on the smartest dude we have ever seen on screen, Arisu. Arisu is the main character in the show. He is not afraid to take risks in order to protect himself and his friends. He's quick-witted and able to think on his feet, making him well suited to the challenges he faces in the parallel world. Despite the danger and uncertainty that surrounds him, Arisu is determined to find a way back to his own world and will stop at nothing to achieve it. Throughout the series, Arisu develops and grows as a character, becoming more confident and self-assured as he faces and overcomes the challenges of the game. He forms strong bonds with his friends and allies and becomes a leader among the players in the parallel world. One of the reasons that Arisu is such a smart character is mainly because he manages to think like the other side. He does this in almost all of the solutions he brings to the game. Starting with the game King of Spars, where the guys have to get the most points in the 2 hours, or with the game Who Murdered Momoka on the beach, he simply thinks outside of the box all the time. He manages to think like his enemies in the game and even like the game managers themselves. Getting inside other people's minds is a skill that people in our world are still trying all the time to improve on. Psychologists who try to get their patients in a better way, salespeople who try to lock in the right pitch and close the deal, damn, even politicians who try to think strategically of their opponent's next move. That is a crucial skill that in real life we have to develop. But regarding the game, I can tell you that my father had always brought me all kinds of annoying math puzzles that I had to solve when I was younger. as if I liked him. I would always get stuck and eventually give up, telling my dad that I wasn't going to do it. But Arisu does it, and does it big. I'll never forget the scene when the guys were locked in a room that's been filled with water and they had to figure out which switch turns on the lamp. Arisu runs the whole game and even manages to solve the question. This brings me to the second point of why he is such a fantastic character, his ability to think logically under pressure. It's one thing to know how to solve puzzles that your dad gave you when you were sitting on the couch and listening to Abi the Nomad, one of the best rappers of all time, according to Tom, another member of the If I Were a Villain team. But it's a whole different thing to do it under pressure. Do you guys know what happens to your brain under stress? Also, super quick, just a little inside baseball. This channel is run by two nerdy students, me, Max, who studied film, and the other one, Tom, who studied psychology. So this episode was clearly written by Tom, so in his own words, get ready, now the psychology nerd is talking. So, when a person is under pressure, the body's fight or flight response is triggered, which is a psychological response to a perceived threat. This response is controlled by the hypothalamus. Again, this is Tom's expertise, which is a part of the brain that activates the sympathetic nervous system. This system releases stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which prepare the body to take action. During these times of stress, the brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions like problem solving and decision making, may become less active. This can lead to decreased cognitive function, making it harder to think clearly and make decisions under pressure. But, and this is a huge but, on the other hand, some people, like our boy Arisu, are able to perform well under pressure due to the effects of adrenaline, which can enhance focus and reaction time. This is what makes him such a strong competitor in the competition. This dude can think under insane conditions. This is, by the way, something you can actually teach yourself to do. The last point on why I want to be Arisu when I grow up is that nothing can stop him. Our guy lost his two best friends in the game, the same friends he grew up with at a young age. Perhaps the most heartbreaking death of all in Alice in Borderland is the death of Karube and Chota, realizing time is running out and that Arisu won't be able to logic his way out of the situation. Karube and Chota decide to sacrifice themselves so that their friend can live. Chota also holds down Chibiku so that she isn't able to chase down Arisu. But nothing can stop Arisu, and I have to say on a personal note, it was an amazing scene. In general, the ability of the series to combine its editing moments from the past of the actors and moments from reality is simply amazing. I really like this dissonance that the show has in Arisu's real life, which it's unpleasant to say he's kind of a loser, compared to the scenes where he wins the hardest games and saves himself and his friends from certain death. Those scenes just broke my heart. Another scene that shows how much he does not give up in life is the scene in the first game of the first season against the King of Spars, the one we had mentioned earlier. When his other friends are already giving up on the game, realizing that they won't be able to get all the points and are just going to die, he doesn't stop. He doesn't give up. He takes the bracelet from his girlfriend and approaches Kayuma for a final handshake. He manages to get the points, saving his life from certain death. I have to say, there are some people that simply deserve to leave the country. Arisu is absolutely one of them. That is more or less it for today, friends. Right now, I'm in the middle of the second season, and I'm sure I'll have another episode like this at the end. But in the meantime, tell us what you think about the show and subscribe if you want to see more.